All right, it says we are live. I'll give you guys a few minutes to hop in so we can have some playtime. Let's see. Trying to find everything. There it is. All right, I'll give you guys a few minutes to hop in. Say hi in the chat whenever you do. Excited to play with you guys today. Today I had to go out in nature because today we're going to do an ode to fall today for our project. So I will give you guys a few minutes to get in here. And then we will get started. If you are going to be playing along, we are going to be in 1 King chapter 19, around verse, let's see, what did I decide to do? Verses 5 and 6 is where we'll be today in today's live, if you guys want to play along. And as always, we're going to do a little demo fun time first, and then we'll jump into our Bible. Today we are going to talk about the need to rest. And I don't know about you, not super great at that. Hey, Val, you did make it! Yay! So today we're going to play, obviously we're going to play with our 8x10 just for show, and then we're going to switch to our border plate. We might even switch to our decorative border plate. I haven't used that one in a while. Of course, it's kind of gross, so maybe not. I haven't cleaned it in a while. And I apologize if I sound funny. Have you ever gotten a big bubble? You mean like a big dip on the surface? Is that what you're saying, Val? Let me know, because if it is, I can help you fix that. Sometimes what happens is there's, depending on how old it is, there can be gas that's trapped inside the gel that just comes to the surface and leaves a little divot. I can totally give you a way to fix that though. No problem. So is it just like, is it on your plate, but it's just kind of like a little divot? Like on the surface of it? Oh, okay. So that does occasionally happen. It sometimes can happen if you leave like something heavy on it or something weird. It just weirdly happens. So what you need to do is take your plate and find a completely smooth surface. So like a granite countertop, something like that that is completely smooth. And then you're actually going to take your plate. I would take it off of this. I don't know if you've got one or not. But you want it to be completely flat on your surface. And this is the only time I recommend doing this. You're actually going to take a piece of, so put your bubble side up. And then you're going to take a piece of copy paper and you're going to set it on top. So you're kind of making a little sandwich. So on the bottom is your completely smooth surface. Yeah, send a picture in my DMs, but I'm pretty sure this will help you. So take your plate, put it on a completely smooth surface, like something granite, marble, just so it's completely flat. Then you're going to take a piece of just regular copy paper, put it on top, and then you're just going to leave it. I know this sounds super weird, but you leave it for a day or two. And what gravity's going to do is it's going to pull that paper down, and it's going to naturally apply pressure to the bottom being on that surface and the paper being on top. And usually, unless it's something weird, that usually will get rid of any bubbles or any divots or any dents that might have happened to your plate. But yeah, send me a picture just in case what I'm visualizing isn't what you're actually seeing. So today we are going to be playing on a fall theme. So let me find my stuff. So I've got a new printable that will be going in my shop later today. It's going to be in 2 color schemes, but we're using this color scheme today. I jokingly named it Pumpkin Spice Jesus because I'm kind of a basic white girl. Oh, I did start to say it earlier. If I'm talking funny, I have a cough drop in. I got over some funky cold, and the cough just won't go away. So I have a cough drop in my mouth just so I don't annoy you guys by doing whatever this cough thing is that won't go away. So we're going to be doing kind of a fall themed, and we're going to do a couple of versions of it. I went out to my yard and I gathered some leaves. My neighbor next door is having a tree cut down. So I'm sure the guys who were working on the tree are like, why is she digging through leaves? But I needed leaves. So to do this technique, you want a leaf that is more pliable. So you don't want to go for the super crunchy ones. You can use the super crunchy ones, but the problem is when you apply pressure to them, they're going to disintegrate a little bit or a lot, depending on how crunchy they are. And then you're going to end up having to like do cleaning, and you're going to end up with bits and pieces of leaf. So I like these. They're still a little pliable, but they have like some damage, which will add some cool texture and that kind of stuff. So this is my little fall leaf collection. If you do gel printing with kids, this is a super fun thing to do with them too, because it's a double thing. It's a walk in nature, picking out leaves, and it's an art project. 2-for-1 special. So I'm going to hop over to the group real quick and just make sure there's not anybody that's lost before we get started. But yes, I'm super excited, and we're going to just discuss the idea of rest today. And since we are in pumpkin spice season, and I love a good cup of coffee, I thought I would put those two things together to make my little heart happy. I hope it'll make your little heart happy today too. All right, so we're going to get started. We're going to do a couple of versions and then kind of decide which one we want to do. So like I said, this is the printable we're using, and so I've already did a print and cut on my Cricut. I accidentally did it too much, so I think it went all the way through, but that's okay. We'll deal with it later. So I'm kind of sticking in this kind of color scheme with, I like this little purple. The name of my Etsy shop is the Creative Life Studios. Actually, I think on Etsy it's just Creative Life Studios, because I don't think they let you put the. So I'll put a link later for you guys to make it easier. But I wanted to kind of stick with this kind of color scheme, and since we're in the fall pumpkin spice kind of thing. So, and I got a little variety of colors. I've got some metallics that we're going to play with. So I've got a nice little spread. I did add a little bit, or a couple colors, that kind of a violet, light blue kind of color, because I thought that would be, just add a little something different. So we're actually going to start with my copper acrylic. Y'all know this is my go-to favorite for anything metallic, because it just stays yummy and metallic. And if you guys have watched me, you know I've got this. And I've just found out that apparently I need to go spend money, because there's like 8 other colors from this line. And I was like, how do I not own those already? Anyway, so I might have to go buy those. Not that I need more paint, but hey. All right, so we're just going to take our brayer, and we're going to just put a nice even layer of our metallic on our plate. Ooh, and my iPad is making funky noises. Hello, iPad. And then we're just going to take our leaves, and I'm going to put them top side down. You know, I guess you could probably do either. I'm just looking at the veiny side. Actually, this back part might be more veiny. So we're gonna, come on, behave. I don't want to take the stem off, but I'm trying to get him to behave. Also, this particular printable will be in my store later today. I didn't have time to do it before today's live. Oh, should I say I'm sorry or you're welcome, Val? Because she bought paint that I suggested. I love these that kind of have like the little bits and stuff out of it, because it's like, it's going to add a little bit more texture. So I'm kind of just layering them here and there and just smushing them into the paint just a little bit to kind of, so they'll grab. I'm going to kind of shove this little guy right here. Behave. And then we'll tuck this little guy right here. And this little guy right here. And then we're going to take a piece of paper. In fact, I've got one I did earlier. We're just going to layer on top of. So this is one I was doing earlier. And we're literally just going to take our paper and press it down. And what that's going to do is, I'll grab this one so you can kind of see. Because of how squishy, the fancy word is durometer. But it's basically just how squishy the plate is. It's actually going to accept the imprint of our leaves and leave the imprint in that paint. So what we're doing is we're just picking up all the paint that kind of surrounds it so that we kind of have a blank background again. So again, just using regular copy paper, I'm kind of just giving it a nice little massage and pressing down so we get a nice even bloop, 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 bloop. Sound effects make it better. And then we're just going to lift. And this obviously will turn into something at some point. And then we're going to lift our leaves and kind of set them to the side because we're going to use them again. And you can see, hopefully, I know it's kind of hard to see sometimes because my plate is so yellow, but we're going to lift them. And our plate, because of how squishy it is, like I said, has not only had the imprint of the leaves, but it has the veins, it has the stem. I'm going to kind of set those aside. And so that we keep our leaf print really nice, I'm going to kind of do the wavy thing and apparently knock stuff over. Because I want to make sure whenever we add our next layers that I don't accidentally like obliterate all of the pretty leaves we just put down. So I'm just kind of making sure, it doesn't have to be totally dry, but you just want to make sure it's mostly dry. And then I think I'm going to go in with this kind of, what color is this called? It's literally called grayish blue. Because it kind of goes with that teal color that I had. I'm going to keep this one pretty simple with just 2 colors. We'll have a little bit more playtime after this, after we kind of show the technique to kind of play and see what it likes to add multiple colors. And then we're just going to gently take this bluish, or grayish blue is what they call it. So sorry, guys. And just spread it all over our plate. And what that's going to do is it's just going to fill in any gaps in our image or from our plate that we pulled from our other print. And then we're going to do the little paper on here. And if you guys are new to a live, I actually use it whenever I do live so that I'm not constantly putting stuff into my Bible that I might or might not use. This is a digital copy paper. This happens to be Office Depot's version. It's a 26-pound smooth copy paper. And what I love about it is it's smooth, so it gives a really great print. It's fairly inexpensive. It's about $20 for, I think, like 500 sheets. But what I like about it, since it is that 26-pound, it's one of those, if you mess something up, you don't feel bad about trashing it. But if you fall in love with it and you've done it on this, it's thick enough that you can easily turn it into another project. So I'll put a link when we're done. I'll put a link to this in the description for you guys if you want to get the same thing. Now, Hammermill does make a version. It's way more expensive, but it's a good one. Do not buy Walmart's version. Well, you can. I just didn't like it as much. It's not as smooth. It has not a lot of texture, but definitely different from this one. All right. As I've talked, I'm just massaging. And you can always do the little peek test. And I think we're going to like it. Ooh, yes, queen. Look at that. So just imagine any leaves or branches or flowers that you might have in your yard. And I love using the metallic as that base color because it does give just such a little bit of, I don't know, refinement, fanciness, whatever you want to call it. But I love that. Yay! All right, let's try it with 2 colors. I don't know. Let's see what we like. So we're gonna go in this time with, I think I'm gonna do the metallic as the background this time and see what that looks like. So we're gonna go in with, let me look in my greens back here. Do I have a dark green? You guys can't see, but I have a little 3-drawer thing back here that has all of my little baby Amsterdams. If you ever want to kind of move up, y'all know I have a big love for the folk art multi-surface by Plaid. But if you ever want to go for a little bit thicker, a little bit more dense color, this is the Amsterdam, this is their standard series, so it's kind of, I guess, considered like their student series. Hi Beverly, welcome. We're playing with leaves today. Yay! But if you ever want to just try something a little bit different, a little creamier, a little thicker than like your traditional acrylic paint, this is a good start because they come in, you can get them in sets of these little bitty tubes. I don't even know how much this is. I think it's in like weird milliliters or something. Not, yeah, it's 0.7 fluid ounces or 20 milliliters. But this is a good way to start playing with a little bit different, has more pigment, it's a little thicker than your traditional craft paint, but without breaking the bank. So I'll leave a link to this too down below in case you guys want to try it. So we're going to use the green this time for our leaves. And this one, I think it's just literally called olive green. Olive green deep. We're getting deep with our green apparently. And I do find that this leaf techniques, yes, you can do it with your traditional acrylic paint, but it does seem to work a little bit better with a little bit thicker. So like your multi-surface or something like this, because there's more for those leaves to kind of dig into. So we're just kind of, and I've got my extra paper over here that you can kind of see in the corner just to kind of clean my plate off. And then we're just going to take our little leafies. We're just going to put them there. And I didn't clean them off. Some of the other ones I cleaned off, but we'll see what happens because we left a little bit of that copper on there. Let's put this little jankety guy. He's got some issues, but we love him anyway. And I'm just lightly pressing them down so they kind of grab onto our paint. And I'm just going to keep using this as I kind of clean off the background sheet because it'll be kind of cool to see when we're done what the heck it looks like. So I'm going to go in here and just lightly press, and you can see the paper kind of sticks down, and then I can go in and kind of just rub right on those leaves and get a nice impression of them. Give it a nice little massage-y. You can always check and see, is paint coming up? Yes, no. Lay it back down. Give it a nice little rubby rub. And this is fun because everyone's going to come up with something completely different based on the leaves that are around where you live. So I think that's super fun. So this is going to be interesting to see what this turns out like by the time we're done with that. All right, we're going to pick up our little leafies. And you can see we've got our little veins, we've got our stem, we've got our leaf shape. Just going to kind of tuck those over there. Cool. Love. So again, I'm going to do kind of the wave test. I don't know if it's a test. I don't know what you want to call it. Because I just want to make sure that it's mostly dry, because you don't want to do something really cool and then go in with another color and then obliterate all of your hard work. So I'm just doing the little wave. You can take, another piece of paper. Here's a little Bible. Have you guys seen these? I haven't done a whole lot. Actually, I think I've only done a couple. But they're kind of fun. I'm actually getting ready to go on a trip, so I'm trying to decide whether to take anything with me or not, because it's a really short trip. I am going to do a video on this one because I've gotten it from a few people on my Instagram that wanted to see how I did this, so that'll be coming soon. But it's super fun, and they're not super expensive. The only thing is it is only the New Testament, but they're super fun. And apparently I'm using them as a fan as well today. All right, and this time I'm going to make my entire background. Ooh, decisions. I've got this really cool green. I also have our copper. but also this gold. However, the gold's not super, it's not super great. So let's stick with these. But of course, use whatever you have. You guys know, if you've never been around me, you know I'm a... I have when they were fun. Sometimes it's nice just to have that little space, especially if you don't have a lot of time. Because if you don't have a lot of time, but you're in like an illustrating Bible, then you feel like you have to fill the space. Whereas if you're on something like this, it's an interleaf style. And let's talk about how flat it lays. I mean, I didn't have to break the spine or anything. It lays beautifully. But sometimes having a smaller amount of space is nice because it almost stresses you out less because you don't have as much space to fill. So I'm going to switch to my little 2-inch brayer here. It's very handy for things like this where I want to try to keep the paint colors a little individualized and not necessarily blend them. I need a little bit more. I got a little cheap on that one. Probably going to need some more of this one too. But I want my colors to only blend like on the edges where they kind of meet. And that's where like this little baby one comes in super handy. So I'm going to kind of just blend him in this little area and do the same thing over here. Oop, apparently I touched green. Hello, friend. Let me clean my brayer off a little bit. But I love this little guy. He's super cute for stuff like this. Clean my brayer off, and then we're going to go in and basically do the same thing with the green and use the green to fill in any places where our brown is not, and then go over the edges just a little bit so they are not harsh lines. And just kind of, hopefully this turns out the way it does. I didn't practice this one. Y'all know if I go live, I practice some things, but then sometimes I get a squirrel and we're like, ooh, let's see what that does. All right, we're gonna come in here, give it a nice rub. I'm looking at it on camera and it almost looks like a yellow, but I swear it is green. But I guess it is a iridescent green yellow. I'm gonna grab some water. Stay hydrated. Stay hydrated, friends. Y'all could just pray this cough goes away. That would be awesome. And it is kind of funny that God's kind of led me today to, we're discussing, for those of you that might have joined late, we're going to be going into our Bible here shortly, into 1 Kings chapter 19, where Elijah goes running and hiding. And numerous times in that scripture, he just tells him, eat something and take a nap. And so I want to discuss just that idea of how important rest is and how sometimes maybe in our society, we don't always get the same advice. It's go, 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 someone called it something. I'll try to remember it while I'm talking. But it's just saying basically being busy is a badge of honor, but then we're all burned out and we're all tired all at the same time. So how are we going to find the difference? How are we going to split the difference? All right, let's check and see what this one looks like. Ooh, I love this one. Look at our leafies. And our kind of funky background. Love that. All right, let's do one more just for funsies and then we'll flip into our Bible. But it's really interesting. So I'm not going to go through the steps again because I've done them a couple of times. So I'm going to chat while we do this. You know what? Let's go real crazy. As I said, I'm not going to talk. Let's use these. I don't know what they're going to look like, but let's just do this. I feel you, Val. I definitely feel you. But I think, and I know I am that person. Part of it is my, I've been through enough therapy to know, just saying. I know a lot of mine deals with kind of my strive for perfectionism and not wanting to let anyone down and being a people pleaser, which I'm recovering from all of that. And that deals from, childhood trauma. So, one day we'll tell that story on the YouTube. But I don't know. I feel like I'm getting to the point, maybe it's because I'm getting older. I'm not going to say I'm old. I'm getting older. I'm just really starting to realize that for too long, it's going to be a funny way to say that, but I hope you understand what I mean. I kind of worshipped at the altar of busyness like it was a badge of honor. Like if I was busier, then no, I don't want to say I was better than anyone, because that's not the kind of person I am. But being busy made me worthy. It made people like me. You know, it stemmed from that people pleasing and the perfectionist mentality and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm just getting to the point where, oh, girl, I've been to therapy numerous times. I'm just saying, therapy, there's nothing to be ashamed about. I'm like, there is nothing to be ashamed about with therapy. I think I'm going to use the back of this one because it's a little more veiny. But, and I still struggle with this. I'm not saying I've got this down. I'm not saying Jesus has completely healed me from this, but we're working on it. But just the idea that rest isn't a dirty word. Like, I still deal with, if I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to sit here for 5 minutes and watch a show. I'm not going to be doing anything while I'm watching that show. I'm just going to freaking enjoy the show. And I'm not super great at it yet, because I still have guilt of what I quote unquote should or should not be doing. But we're working on it. And that's one reason I love this scripture. It's like Elijah is in this just rough situation, this hard time, this just running for his life. And so he's running, he's in the middle of nowhere, and God doesn't tell him to pray. God doesn't tell him to, write Jesus loves me 20 times on a stone tablet. He doesn't tell him to sing a song or any of that kind of stuff. He literally says, I'm going to send you food and go to sleep. And I'm like, I think sometimes, particularly if you are in, I don't know, sometimes I feel like the church, yes, prayer is important. Yes, all that stuff is important. But sometimes you can't hear people speaking into your life or hear the voice of God if you're doing the praying over grumbly tumblies. What am I, back in teaching pre-K? Over, growling stomachs and sleepy minds. So sometimes the best ministry you can give someone or give yourself is food and a nap. Okay, this paper's starting to look really cool, by the way. And so that's kind of what we're chatting about today. I don't know if anyone else runs into that same problem that I do. If you do, throw it in the comments so I don't feel alone. If you don't, that's okay. You can pray for me. Ooh, I think I'm going to love this one. It doesn't match our color scheme that we're going for at all today, but it looks really cool. Because it's got some pinks, it's got some blues, but then where they kind of overlap, then it made like that purpley color. Oh, now we run what color do I put as the background? Oh, decisions. I think I might do this gold because it's light and it's thin, but it still has a little bit of metallic to it. Because I don't want to do a darker color because I think it would just obliterate all of our prettiness here. But it's funny we're talking about, rest. I'll pray for you too, Valerie. Like, we'll all just pray together. But it's super interesting, like, talking about rest. And my hubby actually surprised me a few weeks ago with a surprise trip to Vegas. We actually leave tomorrow. And it's not a long one. It's just a short little 2-day. But just the idea of not having responsibility or any of that kind of stuff is kind of groovy. And here's something super fun we're going to do. As soon as he told me, this has nothing to do with anything we're talking about, just letting you in on my life. When he told me that's where we were going, first of all, he told me when I was sick, which was super funny because I was like, Not as surprised or excited as he thought I would be, but I kind of felt like garbage. But I told him, wouldn't it be fun, since we just celebrated our 20th anniversary this year, to let's renew our vows in Vegas. So tomorrow, Saturday at 2 o'clock Vegas time, we are going to a Vegas chapel. I got a dress and shoes and all that kind of stuff. And we're going to renew our vows in Vegas just for the fun of it. So I'm super excited. And you guys can see while I'm chatting and all that kind of stuff. We haven't been on a trip in a while, so I'm very excited. But I do have the mom guilt of leaving the kids and story of my life. Mom guilt. Again, dealing with perfectionism and people pleasing. And what are people going to think because I left my kids for a weekend? It'll be fine. They'll survive. All right, let's see what this looks like. Let's do a little peek test. Oh, this one's my favorite. Look at that. I am in love. Look. Oh my gosh, I'm in love. I'm in love. Oh, now I don't know. It doesn't match our colors, does it? Hold on. No, it doesn't really. But I wonder if I could recreate it with other colors. But I really like that. I really love the two-tone of the leaves. So let's see if we can recreate that. I know we're supposed to be jumping into our Bible probably by now since we're halfway through this live. But I want to see if I can recreate that with colors that would work for our color scheme. So I'm going to dig in my paints for just a second. I need like a pinky peachy kind of color. I don't know if I have that. What is that? Nope, that's a metallic. You guys can't see me, but I'm digging in a drawer right now. Why do I not have more pinks? How in the world? Oh, I'm looking in the wrong drawer. That's why I don't have any more pinks. I have them organized by warms, cools, and neutrals, and there's a random pink in my neutrals. Maybe like a peachy kind of color. No, that's not it at all. Talk amongst yourselves for a second while I dig for paint. Because you know me, I have random thoughts in the middle and I can't let it go. I don't love that one. What? Brownish, that would work. No. Alright. We're gonna try this color. I haven't used this one in this technique, but it's called terracotta, and I think it kind of fits the color scheme. So but it is a little thinner, so we'll see. And then we'll decide which one we want to use for our finished project. So we're gonna do that terracotta, and then that army or olive green, which they look really pretty together. You can kind of see them together. So those are kind of cool together, very folly. And we're going to use our baby brayer again and just fill in some areas. Definitely terracotta. And it is thin, but you know, we'll figure it out. Okay, I'm cleaning my brayer off over here. We're going to go in with our green. I didn't realize I kind of made just a big swipe. I accidentally made like a stripe situation, but that's okay. Clean it off a little, and I'm just going to make sure to go those areas where they are overlapping, just so we don't end up with like really harsh lines. We'll see if we like this. All right, let's grab our leafies. Leaf. I'm going to use the other side of this one. Should have cleaned them off, you know, because everybody cleans their leaves, right? This one can go right here. This little guy can go right here. Okay, I think that's good. Got those, smoosh them down. Go with our sheet that goodness only knows what this is going to look like by the time we get done. But it'll be cool. Alright, I'm going to get a different brayer sheet because that one's starting to get a little juicy. This is also super fun if you know, go out and find, if you have a holly bush that has those little spiky evergreen things. You can do this with so many different kinds of leaves. You can even do your leaves that are still on like the stalk, as long as you just make sure there's no really pointy edges. But if it's a smooth and doesn't have any jagged pieces, you can do it with like full branches, which is super, super fun. Give it a nice little rub here. And then we'll do, let's do a little bit more. I probably put a little too much of that green, but that's okay. It's half the fun. Oop. Mr. Leaf came up with me. It's because he had the pink on the other side. All right. Move our little leafies. There we go. Move this guy to the side. I am still absolutely in love with this thing, so I'm gonna have to turn that into something at some point. All right, give it a nice little this. And so we can see the colors really well. I think I'm gonna do the gold again because I really like the way it kind of blended the background and kind of picked it up and gave it like a distressed kind of look. I think that's super fun. So do this. All right. I wish I had this in a gold, but I do not. Because that would be really pretty too, to have like a really like aggressive gold in the background. This one, it's kind of a weenie gold, but that's okay. All right. Get this moving and filling in there. I think I might have put a smidge too much, so I'm gonna grab a rare sheet here. Get a little clean so that I get a nice thin layer, because if you get too thick of a layer, what's going to happen when you put your paper down is you're going to end up just picking up the top surface layer of the wet paint instead of the wet paint kind of gluing your bottom image to your paper. So do a little rubby rub. Well, actually, I'm going to let that sit for a second. I'm going to clean my leaves off a little bit. I know, I'm cleaning leaves. Weird. Where is my little towel I had? There it is. Mainly just because I want to be able to use them again, and I might or might not want these colors. So, you know, like a normal person, I'm cleaning leaves. Oh, I broke that one. My bad. So just wiping them. Mainly, I just don't want that. As much as I love that blue and pink, it's not going to match our color scheme for our finished page. So I just want to make sure there's nothing wet on those when we move forward into our Bible. Even though it's fabulous. And now I kind of want to turn these leaves into something. So just cleaning these off. And this kind of tells you too, if you accidentally leave that on there, you're fine. We'll give you a called away or something. It's not going to do anything. Now we're just going to do a little peel and reveal. Okay. I don't like this one as much, but it's still cool looking. I don't like it as much as some of our other experiments. So what I think we're going to do, kind of looks more like squashes than leaves. It might be too, because my leaves are getting full of paint, so you're not seeing all the little bits as much as you would. All right, let's move to our Bible. And again, if you want to play along with us, we are in 1 Kings chapter 19. Let's go ahead and read. We'll read this whole first part. So 1 Kings chapter 19, verse 1. Now Ahab told Jezebel everything Elijah had done and how he had killed all the prophets with the sword. So Jezebel sent a message to Elijah to say, Elijah to say, may the gods deal with me, be it ever so severely, if by this time tomorrow I do not make your life like that of one of them. So basically she's saying, it's kind of a very Scarlett O'Hara, as God is my witness, I'm going to kill you by tomorrow, have someone kill you by tomorrow. Elijah was afraid, as one would be, and ran for his life. When he came to Beersheba in Judah, he left his servant there, while he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness. He came to a broom bush, sat down under it, and prayed that he might die. I might too. I don't know. I don't like the hot. Actually, I don't like the cold more. And where am I at? Let's see. Sorry, my kid just sent a text message in the middle of me reading. He came to a broom bush and sat down under it and prayed that he might die. I've had enough, Lord, he said. Take my life. I am no better than my ancestors. Then he lay down under a bush and fell asleep. All at once, an angel touched him and said, Get up and eat. He looked around, and there by his head was some bread baked over hot coals and a jar of water. He ate and drank and then laid down again. The angel of the Lord came back a second time, touched him and said, Get up and eat, for this journey is too much for you. So he got up and ate and drank. Strengthened by that food, he traveled 40 days until he reached Horeb, the mountain of God. There he went into a cave and spent the night. So in those, what are we looking at? 9 verses, he tells him twice, get up and eat. And he sleeps twice. And I just love that, especially like it says in verse 9. So he got up and ate and drank, and he was strengthened by the food. And as someone who has dealt with, not an eating disorder, but when I was in the throes of wanting to lose weight, I got really, really neurotic about counting calories and making sure I didn't go over. And if I went over on my little MyFitnessPal app, I was just devastated. And so it became just really, really hard on my mind. And so I would get to the point where I was hungry, but I wouldn't eat because I was past my macros or past my calories or whatever it happened to be. And so I would get grumpy, just keeping it real. I was probably not the most pleasant person to be around. And this verse says that not only are we strengthened by the food, but it also says that, let's see, where is it? God acknowledged that the journey is too much for you, that it's hard, you're in the desert. I'm kind of playing while we're talking. And even God realizes, yes, food is fuel, and food is fun, but above all, food is a necessity of life. And we get grumpy, we get scared, we don't think right when we haven't eaten, or when we haven't taken a nap, or when we get overwhelmed and aren't sleeping well. All right, let's take our leafies here. I'm going to use this big one right here. Behave. Oh, I hope you didn't just mess that up. Talking to myself and the leaf, you know, as one does. So I hope the big thing that you guys take away from this, yes, take away techniques, you know, have fun, deal with my craziness. But I hope that this scripture, if anything, just reminds you and gives you the permission, if that's something you don't feel like you have, but it gives you the permission to rest, to take a nap, to eat the food, you know, to enjoy life, because good decisions are not made when you're tired and hungry. You guys might hear my dog in the background. I can hear him barking and my son going, shh. So I'm just doing the exact same technique. I'm just doing it obviously on a smaller plate. And we're going to just do a little peel. And he's going to be fun to play with later. We got this. So this time I used the copper and that grayish blue, because I think that's going to be really cool by the time we're done. And make some room here. That popped a song into my head. I never go to our youth group because I'm just not part of that ministry at our church, but my daughter was doing prayer during the worship service, and then she was doing what they call the ministry moment, which is where they give a student a chance to come in and do like a short devotional before the actual service. So she was doing the ministry moment last night, so that was super cool. And, you know, so they were doing that song, I Will Make Room for You. I'll put a link to it in the description later. It's a really good one. It's a good one to sing along to. All right, so we've got that grayish blue that kind of, it goes with the lavender in our print, or our, if you guys haven't seen it, this is the printable we're kind of using as our reference. It'll be in my Etsy shop later today, and it's super fun. I drew them. I love them. They make me happy. All right, and I'm loving kind of using this gold because I feel like it adds a little bit of like grunginess, but not like overpowering the colors we already have. So we're just going to allow that gold to kind of fill in our little spots here. And there we go. Make sure we've got it all good. Yay. I think this is going to be pretty. And we're just going to go straight into our Bible with it. So in case you didn't or haven't been around, I've got this acrylic sheet that I actually got custom cut at Lowe's, just to the size I needed it. So super cheap way to kind of give it almost like a stamping block so that, hopefully you don't see my hair, can get a good line up. But then I'm nervous and it wiggles, so hopefully it's straight. So we're going to give it a nice smooshy smoosh. I probably need to clean this plate. Look at all, that's from probably one of our little alcohol ink adventures. So I'm just giving it a nice press directly into our Bible. Usually I put like a piece of paper or a piece of acetate or something behind it. I just realized I forgot to do that, but that's okay. You use such a thin layer of paint that it's not going to bleed through, but sometimes I end up going over the edge. That's why my Bible edges look a little jankety. All right, let's do a little peek test as we kind of start to peel it off. Yay! I love it. So you can see the little imprints of our leaves and the little veins and the edges, and it kind of has that that color that we were going for. All right, I'm going to hit it with the heat gun real quick just so we can start the next phase. Alrighty, let's see which one of these little guys we want to use. So I printed, in case you're wondering why it's on a Cricut mat. Hey, Mary! I did this. Oh, here's a little tip. If you're ever trying to get something off your Cricut mat and you're worried about it curling, do it in reverse. Hold your paper down and bend your mat. And I think I did the wrong one. Don't stick to my Bible. Didn't think that one through, friends. I accidentally did the wrong cut, so it cut all the way through, but that's okay. They're still sticker-fied. And once I put this on my Etsy shop later, it does come in a PDF and a PNG form, so that you can do your print and cuts. I have a tutorial somewhere about that. All right, let's see. Let's try this little guy. What's good about the fact that I kind of dorked it up and accidentally did like the cut all the way through is I can kind of do a little placement, and I think I am going to use, trying to decide if I want to do, I might just do like a little cluster of 3 different ones. I was originally going to do like the 3 of these kind of cups. I don't know, might still. Decisions. But since I goofed it up and cut all the way through, we can do a nice little test here. Oh, that's cute. Oh, I'm here for it. I love. Do I want to do this. Maybe. I might have to do the little kind of off the page thing because I love that. Having this little cutout's kind of funky because it's throwing me off because I can see the stuff behind it. So if we do you there, and do you right here. I love a good cup of coffee, and I am one of those people that is totally willing to pay a lot for coffee. Yes, it can be kind of funky, and maybe you can speak to this too, Mary. Sometimes even if you feel like you've done all the same steps, it will still be stupid and still cut wrong. Maybe that's just me. All right, let's try. We put this guy here and this guy here. There we go. I think I like that. But I don't know if I like those. Okay. I need to change color. I think these two, I think what's throwing me off is these two are too close in color. So let's switch to the little orange frappuccino. Orangino. Let's trade you out, buddy, for this guy. All right, we're getting better. What's my other option? Let's try. Okay. At this point, I'm just going to end up peeling all of them off. Oh, maybe that's what I want to do. Oh, decisions, friends. Okay, this is better. I think I just don't like this coffee cup. Let's try a different coffee cup. Decisions, decisions, friends. So let's do this. And then let's do... You know what? At this point, I'm just going to take them all off. And just... I need to figure out the print cut. So the print cut is a fabulous, fabulous invention. Especially if you do a lot of printables and stuff. I actually have a video on my channel here somewhere. I'll have to find it. That shows you how to take almost any kind of PDF, which is typically what you would print from a, what you would get from, you know, an Etsy shop or whatever. But it would be in that PNG form where the background is clear, which is what you need, or background is transparent, which is what you have to have in order to use the print and cut feature. Okay, yes. Okay, I think I just didn't like that green with this color. What do you think? I'm loving. Right? Yep, you're totally right, Mary. That's all you had to do. So I do that whenever the printables I sell on my Etsy shop, I do that for you. So they always come in a PDF and a PNG file, so that you don't have to go through that. But if you order them from somebody else, most of the time it's pretty easy just to change it. So I am pulling off my little sticker background here. I'm gonna just set him right here. And hopefully I can remember where I set these. Okay, so you're gonna go right there. I just love the way these came out. When I was drawing these, y'all know I love coffee. So I was like, I need something coffee themed. So I have it in this color scheme. And then, I wonder if I can pull it up on my iPad. There's this color scheme, which is kind of this fall. And then it also is going to come in this color scheme, where it's more like brighter pinks and purples, kind of more of a bright color scheme. So those hopefully will hit this afternoon. I'm going to do our little cup of coffee here. I am in love with this. They turned out so cute. This is my first time doing this kind of printable. So I was super happy with the way they came out. All right, we're gonna stick this little guy right there. Oh my gosh, look how cute they look. Oh, I am here for it. I actually love fussy cutting. And for those of you that are in the chat that might not know what fussy cutting is, it's basically where you just take an image and you cut out all the little minute details of whatever. I was actually known for that years ago when, I don't even remember how long ago that was. I was on the Graphic 45 design team, which is a scrapbook paper line that is really known for its Christmas. That's something I don't have yet. That's a good thing, Mary. I don't have any Christmas printables yet. That needs to be next on my list. But when I was on the design team for Graphic 45, like I said, they were really known for like just these really beautiful images. And it was my jam, and it's what I was known for, taking the time to cut all these images out and layer them and all that kind of stuff. And it took forever, but they looked great, and that's all that mattered, right? All right, let's do a few little details here. Got my handy dandy Faber-Castel. I'm trying to decide what I want to use for the letters. Of course, got my new alpha stamp here. I feel like I got another alphabet stamp. Okay, put a pin in it. I'm gonna be right. I think I have another new alpha stamp from them. Let me look. All right, and I'm back. I knew I had another one. This is from Sweet and Sassy Stamps. So I've got this little guy, but I don't think the emptiness is gonna work. We need something bold, so I think we're gonna go with our big boss lady here. I think that's what it's called. I can't remember. I think it's called Boss Lady Alpha. And I'm actually gonna go grab my brown stamp pad. It's the same as the black one I usually use. It's the Archival. But it's in a sepia tone, which is just kind of a reddish brown. And I think that'll work better with what we're doing here. So let me find somewhere. Where are all my stamp blocks? I mean, I know I need to clean my studio, but it's actually not that bad right now. I'm going to grab another cough drop real quick. Oh, I love this one. Isn't this one great? It's called Boss Lady Alpha. I just love it because it's big and chunky. And I don't know, I feel like it works really well for my style. So that's why I bought it. All right. Oh, hello, Mr. E. I'm gonna need you to stay right there. So I think I want to do, I think I'm gonna have the words kind of, well, but then I'm gonna run into that. Maybe I should have the words coming on the sides. I don't know. Let's put the stamps where they would go and see what we think. It's going to be backwards, but that's okay. Sorry, I put another cough drop in, so hopefully I wouldn't have another coughing fit on you guys. So if it sounds weird, that's why. Here's my P. No, it's a D. This is... Anybody else have problems figuring out the D's and the P's sometimes? Because they're very similar. Well, now I don't know. Maybe I do want to use the smaller one. Decisions, people. This is one of the things I probably should have picked out before we started this, but I wasn't 100% sure like what this was going to turn to, so that's on me. Let's see. I kind of like the idea of it doing this. If we do nap, kind of coming here. And then we could do eat coming around this side, because oh, my A's over there, but that's okay. Or eat. That's kind of fun. What do you think? Kind of have the words surrounding it. I might actually do it if I could figure out, have them go all the way around like in a circle. Ooh, I think I like that idea. So we do eat. Because then I could do, oh, friend. I could do eat, nap, nap. So it would go around it. Yes, I think that's what we're going to do. Now I just have to get this little curve right. So the good thing is our block is clear. So I can kind of set our block right here. And where's my A? Never done this before, but it actually works really well. Except I'm doing the word backwards, aren't I? I'm a dork. Glad I just noticed that. Eat. All right. And just double check that we like it. Perfect. And then we're going to do a little stamp. And as always, do a little pre-stamp, especially because that A is brand new. We're going to fill in any of those microscopic little holes that we can't see. So we're going to do eat right here. Cute. And then I'll have nap kind of going around. So let's figure out how we like that. I wonder, here's a wild here. Let's see, I'm sure you guys are enjoying this talking to myself thing. I know it makes for great videos when I'm just having a one-sided conversation with myself. I think if I do, it's sticking to my fingers. They need to go a little further this way. So what I think I can do, stop sticking to my fingers. Stop sticking to my fingers, Mr. Acrylic Stamp. Okay, then I think I can actually just go, boom. Ha! There we go. Now it's going to turn out exactly like I wanted it to. Winning. I just taught myself that. Oh, nope, it's not. Just kidding. I have it backwards. It would work if I had them facing the right way. So what we need to do is do it like this. Haha. It will still work. They were just going to be backwards. It's all right. Nope, that's a D. I need the P. See, I can't tell them apart sometimes. There we go. Nap. Yay! And then we're just gonna take, what I did last time is I had them facing upright instead of like stamped side down. So I accidentally stamped the back of the stamp instead of the front of the stamp. That's okay. But that works really well. So that's a little tip that I just taught myself. If you want to do something where it's not straight across, put your letters face, like stamp side down where you want them, and then just apply your block to them where they are. All right, we're going to do this coming this way. Give it a nice little press. I dorked that up. This should be interesting. You're about to see my hair, just so you know. Oh, I'm moving the paper. Silence. Apparently I didn't put good pressure on it last time. There you go. I mean, it's a little funky. That's okay. We're not mad. All right, and then we're going to do our eat. And I didn't even realize until this moment that I'm putting eat and nap twice, just like the 2 times that God told Elijah to eat and take a nap. Didn't do that on purpose. That's a Jesus thing. So we're going to do eat coming around here. Let's scooch them in just a little bit. And then we're just going to do that. That works really well. I'm really glad that worked. Okay. And then we're going to come in here and do our eat. Right, Mary? I totally just figured this out myself too, but I was like, it actually works really handy if you have one where you're needing to do it in like a weird shape that's not like straight across, because obviously on your stamp block it's got the lines if you just need it straight across. But this works really well. Okay, then we're gonna go and our P is going to be a little bit on our coffee cup, but that's okay. I think I'm going to go in and outline them just a smidge. Just because when you get on this brown, we lose it just a little bit. A nice little stampy stamp. Give it a nice press. Sweet. All right, let's let that dry for just a second while I put my alphabet back together. I'm trying to be good. Am I the only one that is awful about putting stamps back where they go? And then you end up with an alphabet that's missing, you know, usually pretty vital letters like E's and A's. But I'm trying to be good with this one. I say that as I've lost the little clear thing that goes on top of it. Is that it? Nope, that's not it. Ready? Nope. Okay. Apparently I need to go and find that. It's in here somewhere. Welcome to my life. All right, so we've got our eat nap going on. And then, I think I'm going to go in with just my really thin Faber-Castel. Ooh, don't want to do, okay, nope, change my mind. I think I want to use, just had it out a second ago. Where did it go? I think I'm actually going to use the brush tip and do like almost like a drop shadow. Hopefully, I know my hand's kind of in the way. Thanks, aren't they cute? I'm super excited about them. All right, we're going to come in and just add kind of a drop shadow to our letters, just to give them a little bit more depth and some pop. I am loving this. And hopefully it'll be a reminder to myself that it's okay. It's totally okay to rest. And that I'm not going to get extra points in heaven just because I was busy. Because I think that even happens to ministers. It's like you feel like you can't take a rest because, you know, we are here to change the world and to preach the gospel. But even ministers, you know, there's that saying, you can't give from an empty cup. It's pretty accurate. And then you end up just overwhelmed and all that kind of stuff. So you can see I'm adding just a little black, and I might go in with a white on the other side. I don't know, I can't find my white just from where I'm standing. We'll see. And I have these weird lines because I realized I got the edge of my my plate in my ink, and when I stamped it, we got these weird, we're just going to call them intentional distressing of the coffee cups. There's no such thing as a mistake, just room to embellish. That's what a friend of mine used to have back when I was active on scrapbook.com. That was her tagline, is there's no such thing as a mistake, just room to embellish, which is accurate more times than I'd like to say in my life. The other one she had was scrapbookers don't lie, we just embellish. Both are hilarious. All right. right, so I'm just kind of adding where the shadow would go on all these little guys. I don't know why they're guys, but apparently they are. And then I think I'm gonna go in. My brain has to think sometimes, like, where would the shadow be? Eat, nap, eat, nap, eat, nap. I don't know if this makes me want to get coffee or take a nap. I'm trying to find my white pen. So I want to add a little bit on the other side. Let's see, this is like my go-to travel thingy. See if my white pen is in here. It's not. I wonder where that goober went. Like the pen got up and moved on its own. I like how I just said that. Like the pen somehow got up and just was like, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm going to Tahiti. No, sweetie, you lost it and it's somewhere on this crazy desk. So we're going to do something else. Okay. It's all good. We're going to go back in here. I should have a gray. Or you know what? Here's kind of a bluish color. Because I think this gray is going to be too light when we get over here. Yeah, you can't even see that. I just want to accent that other side a little bit. I wanted my white. And now I'm sounding whiny because I can't find my white. All right, let me think. One other place it might be. And if I can't find it, we're just going to move on. Nope, that's not it. That's not it. Well, we just going to have to move on, apparently. Because I don't know where my white pen is. I'm going to guess probably a child borrowed it. This is why I keep having to rebuy them all the time. Because children borrow. It's all good. Or I lost it. All right, we're going to do it this way then. So I'm going to go in with this blue. That's kind of a little bit more of a muted blue. Just to give it a little bit. Nothing crazy. This one's just going to be kind of sketchy. Just to give a little bit more dimension to our letters here. It's almost like we're doing a second shadow, but not really. Mainly I'm just trying to encompass the letters a little bit more so they pop a little bit more off the page, but I'm not doing solid lines. I'm kind of just keeping it very sketchy because we're not wanting to outline like we're doing a cartoon. We're just wanting to just give the letters a little bit more dimension so they pop off the page. Oh, no worries. Oh, bless you, homeschooling. You are my shero. I always joked with my kids that if we ever homeschooled, that every day would be a snow day. So I don't homeschool. I am always fascinated by people who do, and I think you guys are amazing, and you are a whole nother breed of amazing. Because this girl, I don't think, could do it. All right. Just kind of trying to make these pop. My nap is not popping as much as I would like, but you know, this is life. I might try to find my white pen when we're done. Because I think it needs some highlight. It needs some pop of a white. But I have kept you guys on here for over an hour already. So I will put a picture of the finished product on my Instagram. It's the Creative Life Studios, obviously on Instagram. So you can check it out there. I'm going to add some white highlights to a few things just to give the letters a little more pop. And I think that is it. And I will put it out there so you guys can see it. Thank you guys always for joining me. I love you guys bunches. Before we leave, let's end in prayer. I really feel like we need to end in prayer today. I know we typically don't do that, but I'm going to do it today. Dear Heavenly Father God, we just once again thank you for the gift of creativity. We thank you that we are able to spend this time talking about your word while we're talking about creativity, God, and that you have created us to be creative people, God, just like you are, God. In the beginning is literally first few words in Genesis, and then it goes on to say, in the beginning God created. So we know that we are created after a creative God. And I just pray for everyone that is watching now or watching the replay, that you would just bless them today. If they are struggling, give them comfort. If they are lost, give them guidance. I pray that you would just bless everyone who is just taking the time to sit down creatively in their Bibles and just speak with you in a way that a lot of people don't understand, God. I pray you would just be with all of us. Let us have an amazing day. And we love you. Amen. All right, we are done. I will see you guys later. And like I said, I'll put the finished product on my Instagram, and I will make sure to throw some links here in a little bit into the comments for some of the stuff that people were asking where it came from. All right, thank you guys as always. Have an amazing